Hello and welcome back to another episode of Escape from Tarkov News. Now, this one is quite a bad one. So, late last night, Battlestate Games decided to change the rewards for two quests. Private Clinic and the quest where you've got to get 40 with everyone, I forget the name of it. These did used to offer Thicc cases, Thicc items case, Thicc weapons case. As of that change last night, they no longer offer them. They offer items cases and weapons cases, which is a massive nerf to their rewards. As you can see by the screenshot on screen of the Reddit, it is an absolute shitfest. It is just on fire with how many people are annoyed. Now, I can't say I blame them. I think it's a heavy-handed nerf. I think it was done at the wrong time. If they'd done it at the start of a wipe, that would have been fine. But not in the middle of one. You know, not when 50% of your player base is on either side of that quest. I believe Battlestate Games had done this at the end of a wipe going into the next wipe. You know, and reduced the cost, because the rewards were the cost was still the same, 3 ophthalmoscopes and 3 LEDXs, which is a massive, massive nerf. And you lose money. If you're on your way to Kappa and you were doing that, you were losing a lot of money. So I think if they changed it and made it just 3 ophthalmoscopes, that would have been fine. You know, that nerf would have went down a whole lot easier. And I think this change was massively badly received because of 3 reasons. The first reason being, it was done at such a point in which the people who'd done it had already benefited from it, and the people who hadn't done it are just going to suffer. So it really messed with people's ability to rush down the quest. You know, those people who rushed the quest and got it done were rewarded for rushing the quest and got it done, when Battlestate Games themselves say, look, it's not a race. Then secondly, it really messes with the divide between Standard Edition and EOD. Standard Edition, that Thicc case, was a massive addition to being able to bridge the gap between the stash sizes of EOD and, you know, Standard Edition. So I think that was a bad move on their part. And third, I think it was really badly received because the servers had been a dumpster fire for the past week and a bit, for as long as the drops have been on. And then they go and punish people who perhaps could have rushed the quest beforehand but couldn't get it done because they just couldn't log on, they just couldn't play because of desync and all of those issues. So I think it was a very poor time to make that change, and I think it's not a very good. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets rolled back, you know, because the amount of people that are just absolutely shitting the bed over it. And rightly so. There we go, that's Perfect Mediator, the second quest. That got changed from a Thicc weapons case to a Thicc items case. I haven't done these quests, so I don't have a pony in this race. You know, I'm just at the same as you. You know, it hurts me as much as everyone else because I don't have Perfect Mediator done and I don't have Private Clinic done, so I'm not going to get these rewards either. On the one hand, that does make me upset. I'm more mad about the fact it's going to cost a lot more money just to get to Kappa. You know, it's like you lose a lot of money on that quest now, and I think that's just more irritating. I mean, I'm EOD, so the space requirement in the stash is lessened on me, and I don't think that's a good look for the game. You know what I mean? When one person can pay more money to have to spend less time managing their stash to get into the next raid. You know, my views on Standard Edition and EOD don't coincide with the rest of the people who have EOD. Every time you see how someone have EOD and they bring up this, you know, the situation of pay to win, everyone's like, no, it's not pay to win, it's fine, it's not pay to win. And I'm like, well, when you look at the actuality of right now when the wipes happen, right, and getting ahead at the beginning of the wipe means access to better gear and more money and the ability to procure more ammo and armor faster because you have EOD with a higher stash space and a bigger container at the beginning. Sometimes you gotta look at it and think, you know what, that does give me a little bit of an unfair advantage. It doesn't give you an unfair advantage during the fight, it gives you an unfair advantage preparing for the fight. But I do think the find and raid mechanic has done a lot to mitigate that. I think it's switched away from the containers being the point of contention to the stash size. I think how much it costs standard edition to buy the stash increases are kind of ridiculous. I think it's trying to force people into buying EOD to not have to spend as much money on the hideout, which I don't like that. I don't think it's a good look for the game, and neither is this. This is the response from Battlestate Games community manager. I think he's a developer. He might be one or either. Just basically saying, well, games in development, and that's what happens to games in development. Changes happen, and I'm like, you can't play the I'm in beta card when you've just sat and displayed your game in front of 250,000 people. You know what I mean? If those people watching saw a streamer do a quest, get a Thicc case, and they bought a game, went into the game to do that quest because that was what they had in their mind, that's their game plan, you've just basically false advertised to them. You know, it's not as bad as that, but that's the look you've got. You've given them a false sense of what the game is about. Part of the big benefit of being quote-unquote in beta is feedback. And if you're getting defensive because people are saying, look, this is a terrible change, this was really bad, you're on the wrong side of the fence. Being in beta doesn't make you immune from criticism. It's the opposite. People need to make their voice heard so they understand that, hang on a minute, this change was not a good change. So instead of being like, well, it's beta, these things are going to happen, be like, okay, this change was a bit bad, we're going to look into how we can lessen it or reverse it. You know, I defend Escape from Tarkov. I love Escape from Tarkov. I play, you know, 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week on Escape from Tarkov. But we shouldn't give it a blanket pass because it's in beta. It should be a give and take. If you make a change and it's a bad change, listen to the community. Just check the Reddit again after nearly completing this video, and boom, they've changed it back. They're going to revert it. They've seen the fucking light that that was a bad move, and it's just being rolled back. Now this offers a really difficult situation though. What about the people who handed it in and got less? I didn't. Luckily I'm not up to that part. But a lot of people in the last couple of hours probably handed it in thinking, well, this is what I've got to do. And those people have just been utterly screwed over by what was a really bad move. So hopefully they've got a way to check that and send the proper rewards to those people. And you even let them benefit, let them keep the original items case, let them get the items case and the Thicc case. Reward them for the fact that you messed up. That's what I would do. And that's what I would want in their position. I don't mind if, you know, as a player who's not going to get that reward, if they get it because they got messed over. And that's what you do. You compensate people for who you mess around. I'm still going to upload this video with the addition of what's happened at the end here, just to go to show that if we as a community don't like a change that Battlestate Games has made, voicing the opinion that broadly and that unanimously will get across to them that that was a bad change and that needs fixing. It just goes to show that that is what being in beta is all about. It isn't about sitting there and saying, look, this game's in beta, you can't criticize me. It is shown that the reason you should be in that methodology is so your player base can be a part of the development. Isn't this what is touted all the time, is this is, you know, this is in development. Get in at the early stage so you can help shape this game to be the best game it can be. And that's going to be it for this video. Do comment down below if you've been affected by this hiccup, and tell me what you think about the in beta argument, whether it's, you know, just a shield to use against any and all criticism, or whether it needs to be more thoroughly looked at of whether this game is actually in beta. You know, it's been in beta for about 4 years, you know, and how many copies has it sold? How many people are playing the game right now? And on a separate note, to end this video on a bit of a brighter note, I hit 700 subscribers yesterday, which is not a massive milestone to some, but it's something I didn't think I'd get, and I did actually look at it and think, you know what, I actually achieved something there. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank, you know, everyone that's took part in that, whether you subscribed, whether you've just watched a video, just liked, all the taking part in the, you know, this community, this YouTube channel. You've been a part of that success. So I just wanted to thank you personally, and I hope you have a good day today. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you haven't been stung too badly by this. I'll see you next time.